In another context, I once wrote that John F. Kennedy is the first U.S. president who is not a racist. And I'll repeat, he's the first U.S. president who is not a racist. John Kennedy liked Latin Americans. He liked Latin American thought, society, and culture. When Latin Americans would visit the Oval Office, they would leave duly impressed that the president had read his briefing books. He knew a great deal about their countries. Beyond that, he developed very close personal relationships with Latin American leaders such as Romulo Betancourt of Venezuela. President Kennedy wanted to do good in Latin America, and he was really committed to the Alliance for Progress. He did want to help average Latin Americans. He would also often tell finance ministers, et cetera, you're going to receive instructions from the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank. Just ignore them. Your job is to deliver services to the people. I'm a politician, you're a politician, that's what we're about. On the other hand, while John F. Kennedy is an extremely humane person who loves Latin Americans and loves Latin American thought, society, and culture, he is also a cold warrior. During his 2.5 years in office, he authorized 161 covert interventions. 2.5 years in office, 161 covert interventions. Large numbers of them were in Latin America. Quite frequently, President Kennedy, though committed to progress in Latin America, mangles his own program. He sides with people who are not committed to the Alliance for Progress because they can promise stability. President Kennedy once said there's a descending order of preference, three-part descending order of preference. This was in the aftermath of Rafael Trujillo's assassination. He said there's 3 descending orders of preference: a decent democratic regime, a continuation of the Trujillo regime, some form of authoritarian government, or a Castro regime. We ought to aim at the first, but we can't renounce the second until we're sure we can avoid the third. Quite often, despite his very good intentions, he chose the second path.